So on to slide 11. Uh, these are the last two questions I asked myself out of the four questions during this research. The third question is, what collaborative efforts is the United Nations and other financial institutions and countries enforcing? Well, as I've been mentioning repeatedly, the FATF, the Financial Action Task Force, they have their set of recommendations. These recommendations are enforced by the United Nations Security Council and every member state. The United Nations knows it. These are the main points that are doing the most work. Um, the next are the three United Nations conventions, such as the Vienna one and the Palermo one I mentioned. Um, it's been a while since we had a convention, and I do think that we need another one. But definitely, those three conventions are the most pressing and memorable ones. The third one would be the Blank Secrecy Act of 1970. That has a lot of different aspects to it. One like small detail of the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970 is like where it includes that any transaction of over $10,000 done at any bank, for example, I could just go to a Wells Fargo here in California, and if I make a transaction of over $10,000, withdrawal, deposit, whatever it is, they automatically have to report it. And if the bank doesn't report it, then they get fined. So it's dialed down so specific now, thankfully, that's why it's so much easier now. I mean, it's not where we want it to be, but it's so much easier in the tools we are using and the way we are working together cohesively with so many agencies and the banks and lawmakers. So it's working out slightly. And then another one would be the global terrorism strategy that's being enforced. The counter financing of terrorism agency, the interagency collaboration, such as with FIUs, which is the financial intelligence units, also LIAs, which is the law enforcement agencies, and GAO, the government accountability office. As for the fourth question, how is the Muslim culture religion tied to monetary practices in disguising terrorist financing? Well, as I mentioned, zakat. Zakat is the Muslim religion and one of the pillars of their religion. And it's an obligatory 2.5% annual donation of one's own wealth in cash to charities for religious purposes and is given to the trusted community leader. And those institutions and community leaders are believed to choose an adequate charity that align with their religious beliefs. So that is when exploiting comes into action because, well, not all religious leaders are doing the right thing. And I mean, that's found throughout the world. You know, for example, I mean, he's not a terrorist, but we trust people in our communities, for example, such as in Joel Osteen. He's a very prominent figure here where we give him money and he puts it in certain charities or what you have it. And it's probably not always used completely for the charities. Sometimes I'm sure it's for personal benefit for the church itself. So that aspect about, not finding the right person to guide your money, it's found everywhere. But this is so much more intense because, well, these are some of these religious leaders happen to be terrorists. So that's when it's like, okay, hold on. We really got to look at this,